People called him foolish long before they called him legendary. In a small village at the foot of two massive mountains, there lived an old man named Yu Gong. He was nearly 90 years old. His back was bent, his hands were rough, and every morning he woke up to the same problem: the mountains. They stood like giant walls at the edge of the village, blocking the road to the market, the river, and the neighboring towns. If you wanted to travel, you didn't walk forward, you walked around. A journey that should take half a day took 2 full days. A sick child had to suffer longer before reaching a healer. A farmer had to carry heavier loads farther for no good reason. Everyone complained, everyone accepted it, because what can a person do against a mountain? One morning, Yu Gong stepped outside with a shovel. His sons followed him, confused. "Father," they asked, "where are you going?" Yu Gong pointed at the mountains. "I'm going to move them," he said. The sons stared at him as if he had lost his mind. Move them? He wasn't a king with an army. He wasn't a magician. He was an old man with a shovel. But Yu Gong didn't argue. He simply began. He dug. He lifted stones. He carried baskets of earth. He dumped the soil far away, little by little, as if he were emptying the ocean with a spoon. At first, the villagers laughed, not cruelly, almost affectionately, like you laugh at a child who declares they will catch the moon. A few days later, the laughter grew sharper. A neighbor named Zi Shu, an old man too, but with a mouth full of certainty, walked over and watched Yu Gong work. He shook his head. "Yu Gong," he said, "you are too old for this nonsense. You have so little strength, and the mountains are endless. Even if you dig until your last breath, you won't finish 1%. Yu Gong wiped sweat from his brow and leaned on his shovel. He looked at Zi Shu calmly, and he said simply, "You're right," he said. "I will not live long enough to finish." Zi Shu smirked. "Then why waste your life?" Yu Gong looked up at the mountains, then back at the neighbor. "Because," he said, "I will die, but my sons will live. And when my sons grow old, their children will continue. My life has an end, but the work does not have to end with me." Zi Shu laughed louder. "Fool," he said, "you think your grandchildren will still be digging dirt like ants?" Yu Gong didn't get angry. He didn't defend his pride. He only asked one quiet question. "Tell me," he said, "do the mountains grow?" Zi Shu frowned. "Of course not." Yu Gong nodded. "Then, if the mountains do not grow, and we dig even a little every day, which one is truly endless?" The neighbor had no answer. He walked away, still laughing, but a little less confidently than before. The work continued, day after day, season after season. Yu Gong and his sons dug. Sometimes the sun burned, sometimes cold winds cut through their clothes, sometimes their hands split and bled, sometimes their shoulders shook from exhaustion, but they still showed up. And slowly, something changed in the village. A new sound appeared in the mornings, the sound of metal striking rock. Clang, pause, clang, pause. It became the heartbeat of the village, the only clock that mattered. In the beginning, the villagers only saw a man fighting a mountain, and that looked insane. But as months passed, the road around the mountain became slightly wider. The detour became slightly easier. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't a miracle. It was barely noticeable, but it was real. One day, a young boy asked his mother, "Why does Grandpa Yu dig every day?" The mother sighed. "Because he's stubborn," she said. But the boy watched closely. He didn't see stubbornness. He saw a man who didn't negotiate with impossibility. A man who didn't ask, "Can I finish?" He asked, "Can I begin?" And begin again tomorrow. Years passed. Yu Gong became slower. His steps shortened. His hair turned white like ash. Yet each morning he still took the shovel. Not because he believed he would see the final result, but because he refused to teach his family the habit of surrender. Zishu returned again, ready to mock him one last time. He stood in the same place, prepared with the same words. But when he opened his mouth, he hesitated, because the mountain looked slightly different. Not smaller, but touched, marked, as if even stone had begun to accept that it was not safe from time. Zishu swallowed and said, weaker now, even if you keep digging, it will take forever. Yu Gong didn't look up. He kept working and answered softly. Forever is only a word, he said. Today is real. Zishu stood there for a long moment, then walked away without laughing. Now, in the old myths, people say the gods were moved by Yu Gong's determination. They say spirits or giants came down and carried the mountains away. But perhaps that is only a metaphor. Perhaps it means this: when you refuse to stop, the universe eventually gets tired of resisting you. Because the real mountain was never only stone. The real mountain was the belief of this cannot be changed. Yu Gong didn't defeat the mountain with strength. He defeated it with time, with repetition, with the quiet refusal to quit. And that is why this story survives. Because we all have mountains, not made of rock, made of habits, fear, procrastination, doubt, the belief it's too late, the belief you're too small. And the world is full of people like Zishu, people who will tell you it's impossible, you're wasting your time, you won't finish. But Yu Gong's answer is still the same. Maybe I won't finish, but I can dig today. So look at the problem in front of you right now. Do not measure the height of the mountain. Do not negotiate with forever. Just pick up the shovel, move one stone, then one more. Let the clang become your clock, and one day you will look up, and the thing that once blocked your life will no longer feel eternal, because it never was. It was only waiting for someone patient enough to begin.